So I'm gonna face you when I'm talking, and then demonstrate toward the mirror, and you should be able to see a back and front view at the same time. So let's see if that works out. I think it's probably time to go to start. So thank you all. You've continued to support this live stream class, and it's been great. People are sending checks in the mail even sometimes, so it's they're going above and beyond, and your contributions have helped a lot of arts organizations here in Arizona. This week's will be going to the Tucson Musicians COVID-19 Relief Fund, and the link, I'll put that in the description of this video after it's posted. But that's essentially going to give people who are not able to gig right now a little bit of breathing room. They've already exceeded their goal, and now we can just continue to keep that going and get that relief to even more people who are not able to work right now in their art. So thank you so much. Make sure you check me out on Instagram at IG_flamenco_school, at IG Flamenco School. Check us out on Facebook at Tucson Flamenco Studio. You already know what my channel is on YouTube. If you're interested in private classes, please email me at flamencodpv@gmail.com. And also, I've been tinkering with the idea of maybe putting together not a theory class, but a communication class, maybe like even a Zoom where I can take your questions in real time, and we can bounce ideas off of each other. And if you've ever been confused as to how you apply all these tools in a performance or putting together your own baile, that'd be a good opportunity to try to communicate some of that stuff. I try in this class, but it's hard when you're demonstrating and having to explain. So that's just an idea. If you like that idea, let me know in the chat or in the comments section, and maybe we could set that up. I think that's it for today. I mean, let's go ahead and get into it. And if there's any issues with your view, do let me know. So far, so good, I think. Okay, let me make sure I can see myself. There we go. Okay. So let's go ahead and warm up a little bit. Feet together. Chin to the chest, and relax. And breathe. Slump your shoulders. Long spine, but let your shoulders slump. And let your chin go to the chest, and then let's go reach for the sky with your chin. Continue to breathe. Back down to the chest. And to the ceiling. And back to normal. Looking to one side then the other. Nice and gentle, leave it there for just a second, and then rotate to the other side. Now let's do some head circles. Whichever direction you feel like you'd like to go. I like to be stationary sometimes with my upper body as I rotate my neck, or rotate my head rather. But then sometimes I like to let my upper body get into it a little bit. Just depends on what you want to do, and switch sides, directions. Don't force anything when it comes to your neck or your spine. Very important to keep healthy necks and healthy spines. If you have any soreness or injuries, do what you got to do to protect that area. Very good, feet apart. I'm going to go ahead and face forward on this one. Let's take the arms up. Look into the ceiling and open the chest. And up. Inhale as we go up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And just keep big arm circles going back behind you. And now reach back behind you over the top. Feel your torso get into it now. So I feel like I'm reaching back behind myself by allowing my torso to release in the front to expand. And then my back expands as I come forward here. So let your arms go even further than they would by relaxing and opening up your torso. Very good. Feet together, arm up. Lock that elbow up. Keep your bicep near your head and push your hips in one direction. Open those ribs up and switch. I'm going to start shouting just in case you can't hear me so well when I face the other direction. I'm working on getting a good mic. I got a cable earlier for a mic I had, but it was the wrong cable, which just came yesterday, so much for that idea. Feet apart, let's interlace the fingers here. Sit down into our weight a little bit. Keep your biceps touching the sides of your head. As you open, reach, sit into your weight, and then the other side. Oh, back and forth. Oh my goodness. One arm under the other. Intertwine the fingers. Pull the elbows down. And gently release. Reverse. If you're able, intertwine the fingers, elbows down. Keep a nice long spine. Nice and long through the knees, even though they're not locked out and you're not holding tension in your knees. Nice and long through the knees, so you have nice long lines. When you're dancing flamenco and many other forms, you're not only shaping your body, but you're also working with the lines of your body, including the lines that your arms, your legs can make, your torso can make, all the way through your neck. So that's something I can get into later, but just know that lines are an important part of flamenco. Okay, let's put our feet out in front of us here and just circle the toe. So you're taking the tension out of your ankle and you're working the muscles in the shin and the calves a little bit in reverse directions. Big circles, like you're drawing a big circle with your big toe. And switch. Nice full circles. And reverse. All right, shake out your legs. You might hold tension, a lot of tension in your quadriceps. That's something you want to try to avoid. The more your flamenco work gets into your quadriceps are strong and you need them and they're there to support you and keep you up, but you don't want to put too much weight into them if you can avoid it. You want to distribute and align the body in such a way that your skeletal structure is the main source of support, and then the muscles around that, like the quadriceps, big muscles, are there to support what you're doing with your skeleton. So that's why we work on core strength, and we pay a lot of attention to the finer muscle groups. Okay. So let's see. Let's build on some ideas that we've done in the past. I'm going to demonstrate it first forward, and then look to the mirror. So if you recall, well, actually, I don't think we've done this yet. So we're going to put our hips to the front, and I'm going to corner the body here, and I'm going to take a high seventh. I'm going to be back up a little bit. High seventh here. And now, as many of you know, to go from one side to the other, you come through high fifth and then to the other side, like so. So we're going to do that a few times just to get used to it. One very important part of this is to keep the spine rotating. So it's not my hips that are getting my upper body to shape and twist, but it's my spine. I'm sitting into my hips, sitting into my weight, and that gives me the leverage to be able to rotate my spine. So you got that so far. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hollow out and then open back up again. Okay, so this part I haven't given you before. So let's say I'm here in a seventh position, and I want to go to the other side, but I want to start to include hollowing out. So hollowing out, we've done some warm-ups that are utilizing hollowing out and then opening back up. One of them is when we do this, chin of the chest, hugging yourself and then opening back up again. We're going to be doing something similar, but we're actually going to put it into an exercise now. So if I'm here, elbows high, and I'm coming to the other side, I'm going to come here, but I'm going to let my chest concave in a little bit. I'm seeing a few comments, so I better check them just to be. I'm glad to see you guys are all here. So I'm going to keep going. So if I'm here now, I'm going to come to low fifth, but now I'm going to let my shoulders come forward. I'm going to let my chest kind of come in here. I'm still pushing my elbows forward, and I've got my spine curved, you'll notice, here, but it's coiled like a cobra or a snake, ready to straighten right back up again. So I'll do it from the side, then I'll do it from the front. So if I'm here, and I'm coming, I'm going to come in here, and then open back up and lengthen my spine. So essentially what I'm doing, if I'm not using my arms, is I'm doing this. And the chin goes straight down to the chest, and then right back up again. So if I'm here, I go straight down to the chest, and then up again. Here, and up. Okay, now adding the arms, and I'll do this to the front in a second. I'm in a high seventh here. I'm going to go here. Going to sit down into my weight a little bit, and then as I bring the other arm forward, open back up again, and down, and up. Now you can get real extreme and go way down, and way down. And you want to try to time so as this is your low point, and then as you're coming up, everything arrives together. Okay, now I'm going to do it forward, and then I'll do it facing the other direction so you get both views. So if I'm here in a high seventh, I'm going to collapse here, sit into my weight a little bit, and then nice long spine again. And then here, and up. And I'm trying to time it so that everything arrives at the same time. Try to keep your weights on the insides of your feet. And try to avoid your knees coming together. I was noticing that was happening with me. Okay, now I'm going to do it facing the mirror. Let me get over here about. I think you can see both views there. So I'm going to be here. Let me come a little closer. I'm going to come forward and then up, arriving together. And then down and lengthen. Basically, I'm sitting between my weight. I might favor the side that I'm going to once I arrive there. Now try to make it as fluid as you can. Now that we kind of discussed the mechanics, okay. Now let's do something similar, but we're going to use both arms here. So now I'm going to be to one side. I'm going to let this arm come forward and the other arm's going to follow. And then, as I come up, I come back up into this position. This is like a modified fourth position. This arm's a little higher and this arm is not quite high fifth. It's more like over here. So I'm going to start here. This arm starts to come down and this arm threads through. And then up. And then down. It's like a cascading effect, if that helps you, right? It's like I'm starting from the top, like an avalanche, and it comes down. As your arms are moving down, your body, meaning your torso and your lower body, should be going together. So don't do this and then this, okay? You want to make everything work together, right? See how the whole body and everything reacts to this cascading effect here. Up and down. Now I'm not going to go quite as far down. Chin to the chest. And then lengthen the spine again. All right, let me do it to the mirror. Do it with me a few times. Trying to not be right here in line with this. I think you should be able to see me there. So I'm here. Come in here, chin to the chest, and up. Everything arrives at the top, then down. Keep your elbows pushing forward, even though everything else is collapsing. The upper body is collapsing, but look, elbows still pushing forward. Sequence the spine. Should feel each vertebra start to bend, in a sense. Alrighty. Not the easiest thing in the world, but that's something you can work on. Let's see. Let's go through some of our side-to-side stuff. So if you recall, when we corner our hips, then we're going to do our seventh position here. We'll take the foot out. Remember to keep your weight on the insides of your feet. Make sure you're not sickling out the ankle that way, but you want to keep one straight line. This is what I was talking about with lines, from the hip all the way through the big toe, so it's a nice picture, right? So if I start here, I'll come out, then come through and together. I'll do it to the mirror. Let's go, let's start with our hips this way then. And I'm going to come out, across, and together. And out, across, together. Out, across, together. Out, across, together. Now let's go a little bit higher. Out, across, and arrive at a high seventh position here. And out, through, put your weight in this hip. Weight on the insides of the feet. And up, elbow high, base arm pushing forward. Okay, now we're gonna combine this with what we just did, which was, we were doing this, right, with the sequencing, but now we're gonna put it all together. So I'm gonna start here. Let me see. I'm gonna start here, foot out, then I'm gonna go here, and then arrive at a high seventh here. Out, bend the knees, sit down. Weight on the insides of your feet and up. Out. Get your weight into that hip. Hold. Out. Move from one hip to the other. And up. Out. Push those elbows forward. Open that chest up. And arrive. Good. How did we do? Good so far. Everybody seeing everything okay? Should I move to one side or the other? Let me know. I'll be looking for little comments if they pop up. We had a request last class on how to do what are called látigos, and that is a brush, what they call and tap a brush. It's 2 hits of the nails on the front of your shoe and the toe, like this, right? Ta-ta. So I'm going to show you how to start to build a technique to be able to do those. I'm not great at it. I can do it. There's a lot of people that can do it better than I can, but I can show you how to do it and how to do a good, strong, quick one. I don't use them a lot in my own footwork unless it fits just right, like the weight change and everything works for me, but some people take to them very well, so maybe you're one of those people. We'll find out. So látigo is essentially the mechanics are here. You're going to hover your foot. You're going to sit in one hip, hover your foot above the floor, and tap. Okay? So a good first step is to make sure you have the strength in this anterior tibialis, this big muscle here in the front of your shin, to be able to get nice loud sounds, okay? So let's work on that first, and then we'll start to move in the direction of doing látigos and double hits. But right now, let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, let's go to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Couple more times. Here we go. Right side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's a good way to just get the strength to be able to get there. We're going to move beyond that now, and we're going to do double taps. Now, when you do an actual brush, you don't want to hold a lot of tension or you really want to be relaxed in the ankle. So right now, it's an interesting mix because in order to do it well, you have to have strength here to be able to get this little quick motion of the tap, but then you also have to be very loose in the ankle. Like so, okay? So let's do double taps. So you're going to do here. Now what I want you to do is try to make the second tap louder. Da, 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 da. Other side. Da, 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 da. Right side. Da, 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 da. Left. Couple more times. Right. Ba, 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 ba. Left. Ba, ba. Okay. Now, the mechanics of an actual látigo are here. You brush once out as you go out. So act like you got a little coin on the floor there, and you're wanting to flick it away from you. So you're tapping it away from you, right? That's the first motion. So you go out and then back. So you do it once out, then once in. So let's do it slowly. Ba, 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 ba. Let me get into a better picture here. Ba, 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 ba. Other side. Left. Flick out, tap in. Other side. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Other side. Out, in, out, in, out, in. Other side. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Other side. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Okay. One step you might want to consider too in there is something we don't necessarily verbally articulate when we're talking about this step, but it's important, is you have to flex the foot a little bit. So in order to get a tap, a lot of times you want to be flexed when you come out. So, and like I said, there's a balance between having some spring-loaded force here in the front, but also having relaxed ankles. So if there's any tension, it would be up here, not in the ankle, okay? The ankle should be loose. And ideally, when you do any footwork, you should have some relaxation in the ankle. So really, maybe a first step in that light would be we flex here, then tap out, then tap back. Let's try the left side. Flex first, tap out, tap back. Other side. Flex, tap out, tap back. Flex, flick out, flick back. Flex, out, and back. Now, most of the time, people, when they do this step, they stick the second one. So I go like this, but then I come back and leave my foot on the floor. So it looks like this. Now, if you're not doing too much force and getting it back behind you, you shouldn't hyperextend the knee, but that is something you want to be aware of to try to avoid. So when I do it, I want to make sure I don't do that with too much force, okay? So then the other side. Let's go right a few times and left. So I'll go, let me see, where's a good spot. Go 5, 6, 7, 8. Da. And left. And right. Left. Okay, we'll do it again, but slower this time, so you can try to get all your hits in case you were just not quite getting it. Okay, so we'll go. Da, 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 da. 5, 6, 7. Other side. Da, 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 da. 5, 6, 7. Other side. Da, da. Other side, da, 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 da. All right, that's just a little tutorial on that. Let's have a little fun and try a 4-sound látigo. Now this is, I don't even really have this yet, but it's something you can work on, and it's a good exercise for really learning how to relax the ankle, because it has to be relaxed for you to get all the sounds. So a four sound is going to be a tap out. Your heel hits, the heel hits as you come back, and then tap. So it goes tap, heel, heel, tap with one foot. And it makes four sounds. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, okay? So what does that look like? You're going. I'm sorry, I totally jacked that up. Da, 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 da. Right? Da, 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 da. In one motion. Let's try the left side. Oops, almost fell. On your own. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is interesting because it might seem like a tall order, but the truth is, any step that you want to master or at least get better at, you can do it by taking it super slow. So the trick in a step like that, where there's 4 steps, if it were done to speed, let me see if I can do it to speed, because I've only started. That's it. Da-ga-da-da, da-ga-da-da. To do it to speed, I had to go through those steps we just did, taking it one sound at a time. But it only works if you do those sounds equally spaced apart. So I highly recommend a metronome. Dr. Compas is a really good app for your phone. It's $20, but it has all the palos and it has a lot of nice features. And you can take it up really fast or really slow. But what you want to do is try to get those 4 sounds equally spaced. Da, 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 da. You can do that with any step, no matter how hard you think it is. And if you work through the mechanics, the next time around, once you get the mechanics, you can try a little faster. So let's put my theory to the test, right? So we'll go. That's slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. And say it in your head. A little faster. So some of mine sounded better than others. Let's try a little faster. Oops. Right? I had to get at least one good one in there. So that's the idea. We're about at the halfway point, so let's get some water. If you have questions, by all means, let me see them. So far, so good. People are just greeting. It's good to see you all. Lorraine, Marcelo, or is it, how do you pronounce it in Portuguese, Marcelo? I bet it's not like Spanish. It's a little different, huh? I don't know. So yeah, Latigo is very important. But anyway, if you just want to practice that simple one, it's once out, once in, one tap out, one tap in, and you're hinging at the knee like this, da 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 da. Okay. I may just review the Tientos Escobilla, but today I want to give ourselves a little bit of a break from the intensity of that, and maybe get into some fun stuff. So I want to show you a little one compás step for Bolivia. And if you recall, Bolivia goes 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it repeats, okay? I'm guessing most of you have some familiarity with Bolivia. But this is a step you can use in any situation, and it's very marked with the major accents in Bolivia, which makes it even better. One of the things people get locked up in is we're always trying to come up with something really complex and you know, tricky and clever with our steps, but sometimes when you have a straightforward step that just marks particular accents, it has more impact, it has more effect. People can grab onto it a little more quickly, and you bring everybody in. They're seeing and feeling it a little bit more authentically, if I could use the term. So let's go ahead and start that. Okay, so this Bolivia step is going to be, you're going to mark 12, 3, 6, 8, 10, I believe. So you're basically going to go here, ah, 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 ah. Okay? Now what you're going to do, all I'm doing is just landing on my planta. So it's going to be kind of like those chiflones we learned, but you're not doing it to make a sound, you're doing it for the visual. So you're going here, ah, 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 ah. Okay? So what I'm doing, for example, if I've got most of my weight in my left hip, I'm gonna put my right planta down and let this foot slide out, like so. Okay? So be careful when you do this. Don't think about, again, like sliding and then catching yourself. It's more like it's at the same time, okay? So it's not this and then that, it's together, right? So basically, if I just let my foot slide as I'm putting my planta down, then you're doing it correctly. So I'm going ah, ah. That's 12 and 3. 12, 1, 2, 3. Now you can even do a little hop in between, which I like to do. So I go 12, ah. Almost like jump roping. Ah, ah. Let's do that in threes for a while and get the feel of it. We're going ah, 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 ah. So notice I'm jumping twice I'm doing a jump on the same planta. So if I go here, I'm going to do a little hop to get to there. If I did it forward and then I'll do it facing the other direction, I'm going ah, 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 ah. Facing the other way. Ah, 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 ah. Now, once you get good at that, you can play with the shaping of it. So I like a lot of turnout. Ah, right? Ah, 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 right? From the side. Ah, 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 ah. Okay? Facing the mirror. Good exercise, by the way. Ah. These are taken from Spanish regional and Spanish classical steps like the jotas, where they do a lot of that kind of stuff, which I have no idea how to do, but I know some of the steps like this one. Okay, so we're going to do 2 of those, and then we're going to do the same thing, but change up the phrasing and the beats. So we go here, 12, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah? So you see what I mean? Like it's like jump rope. You know how you do your doubles here? Same idea, okay? So I'm going to go 12, 3, 6, 8, 10. Let's try that together. Okay? Now one thing I like to do for the effect, because it's a playful step, I like to do the first 2 in place and then move in space. So if I'm here, for example, I'm here. And you walk out of it. Ba, ba, ba.
You could even look at it as I'm here first, but here, knee up. All right, let's try that. So we're gonna go here, here, e, ba, ba. Again. So essentially I'm going ba, e, ba. Right? That last part again is I'm going ba, e, ba. And I lift that last knee and put the foot down to go 11, 12, right? So I go 12, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right? Facing the mirror. Okay? So you can get across the stage, and it's a nice little surprise for everybody, especially if you've been marking. For example, so it's a fun little step. Let's try it out of a marking step now. So I'll do this to the camera, then I'll do it to the mirror. Let's go ahead and we're going to do 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3, okay? Let's try that to the mirror. Then I'll put on some compás and we'll try it with some nice rhythm. And you'll see why it's a good step. So we're going. E, ba, 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 ba. Let's try that again. How'd you do? Let's try it again with some compás. Let me just find the boleas here real quick. And get the volume up. And the tempo down. Let's get on tempo with the compás machine. We're gonna go. So now you got a little step. This is one of those ones you put in your pocket and it's a repertoire, in your repertoire for the rest of your life. Sometimes when you forget all the complex stuff that you had planned for your baile, this one suddenly shows up in your mind and it's real easy to just pull out because it marks the major accents, 12, 3, 6, 8, 10. Let's get some practice now tagging that on to some other bulerías marcajes. So the one we just did was 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's think of some other ones, okay? So there's, some of you have learned the bulerías de calle step, which is this one. Ba, boom. Essentially, if I'm not making it fancy, I'm just going here. It's almost like you're marching in place, but you're starting with a jab toe. That happens on 11, 12. So we're going 12, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Let's try now to tag on that new step we did out of that marcaje. That's bulerías de calle. A more complex version, and it's up to you if you want to do it this way, is you actually do a toe heel flat. If you're familiar with that, go ahead and use it. If you're not familiar with that, it don't matter. Just do the simple one. 12, 1, 2, 3. We'll go right foot. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. It's the idea, okay? We'll do it a few more times, and then I'll put the tempo back on so you can practice it. Ready? You're doing 11, 12 with the right foot. That's jab, planta. 12, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah? Let's try with the beat. Nice and easy. Give it a compás, 12. Another one. Remember on the right foot, 11, 12. I'll take the tempo up here briefly in a moment, but let's do it a few more times. Here we go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, take the tempo up. Ready? for the little pasito that we just did, okay? So I'm gonna bring my arms in here. That's my personal choice. As a male dancer, that's a good aesthetic. As a female dancer, you may choose to incorporate the arms. Men can do that too, it's vice versa. But just personal preference, I like to keep it in here at first. If you're wearing your jacket, great to gather your jacket. Okay? Now, whether you're keeping it here or bringing the arms down in opposition, when you get into the next step, that's where you get a little more creative with the arms, okay? So essentially I'm doing this. I'm going here, and then right, left. Left, right, left, together. That's what you see me doing here. I'm going ba, 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 e, ba, e, ba. So that second one is kind of a whirlwind, right? The first one is just here. Ba, ba, e. As I do the little chug, right arm. Ba, 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 e. Left, right, e. Let's do it without the feet. We're going here, here, right, left, right, together. Let's do that to the mirror. We're going here, here, right, left, right, together. So it goes ba, 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 e. Very literal, right? Ba, ba, right, left, right, together. Now with feet, ba, ba, e, ba. Okay, and you want to get those. This is how you want to finish. Make sure you get the elbows up. Bam. All right. If you're doing with the arms here, you can go. We can go ba, 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 ba. So the same ending, but here, bring in the arms. Ba, 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 ba. Now notice all the different directions I can go in with this step too. What's so genius about it? It's a great step. It's not my step, by the way. It's very common. So I don't want to try to take credit for something that's not mine. But I can go here, across the floor. If I want that effect, I can go straight at you. Ba, 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 ba. And keep the hips moving as I walk out of it. Just a very simple, effective step. So let's try with the arms. I'm going to put the beat back on. And then maybe take the last couple of minutes to review the tientos escobilla. Next week we'll try to finish it and put a little close on it. I'll do it facing the mirror. Let's do two compás palmas. Jab, go. With those hips. I'll try with the arms this time. 12. Here we go, right away, right foot. Yeah? Okay. Let's switch our brains now over to a tientos beat. We're going to do that escobilla. Just to review it once or twice and we'll call it a night, okay? So, I'll do it facing the mirror. You haven't had the benefit of having front and back point of view just yet. So I'll do it right here. Going super slow. 5, 6, 7, 8, and... that up at the end. Let's do it again for both of our sakes. I forget after the, it's duples and the quadruplets. I keep doing a different step that I'm not meaning to do. So let me try to get it right this time. Let's go from the beginning again. If this is new to you, it's in the previous live stream classes. So go to my channel and check out that playlist. And we'll do it many times over, very slowly, okay? Here we go, 5, 6, 7, 8, E. Or if you got your dress, I jacked that ending up too, but that's where it leads. It goes into a subida, if you recall. So, yeah, we're just about done. It's been great once again. Thank you so much for your continued support. Continue to study, continue to watch, ask questions. Again, if you're interested in that, like a Zoom meeting where I take your questions in real time and we get to see you ask the questions and I can put your faces, names to the faces finally. Maybe that's something you're interested in. Let me know in the comments or in the chat box right now. So God bless you all. Have a safe week. Wash them hands.